We have to estimate the budgetary needs based on the scope of the project and lessons learned from the past projects. We have to anticipate the future budget challenges. We have to monitor the budget variations and the work governance process to adjust as necessary. And we have to plan and manage the resources. So it sounds too bookish here, but don't worry. You can just follow the hints that are given here. It more or less covers whatever we need for the task to perform. So also here we have some examples. Moving on, domain 2, task 6, plan and manage schedule. So again, this is directly linked to the project schedule management. The PMBOK Guide 6, guys, you are seeing how the questions in the latest exam are directly linked to the PMBOK Guide 6, right? So if you read the 6th guide, you can easily pass the exam. So I'm not exaggerating. I'm taking or telling this seriously. You don't have to even learn everything that is mentioned in the 7th guide. The 6th guide will help you pass the exam easily. So please take the 6th guide quite seriously. It will help you a lot in the examination. So what happens here is that we have to perform a lot of activities in this project schedule management. We will learn about much in depth in the classes to come. Just to give you a glimpse, what we do here is that we as a project manager, we support in planning the schedules. We will be defining the activities of the stakeholders and the project. We will be sequencing these activities of the project, and we'll be estimating the duration of the project. We will help in development of the schedule, and then finally controlling this schedule. In the task, what is expected of us, that we have to estimate the project tasks. So by estimate, they mean we have to define the milestones, dependencies, and then story points. What these story points are, we will learn much in depth. We have to utilize the benchmarks and historic data. We have to prepare the schedule based on the methodologies. We have to measure the ongoing progress based on the methodology. When we keep repeating methodology here, it could be waterfall methodology, it could be agile. So we will learn about all these methods in the classes to come. We have to coordinate with other projects and other operations. So again, I have summarized what we have to look at while you are preparing for the exam. So just go through these points and then look at a few examples of the questions, right? All right, moving on. Domain 2, task 7, plan and manage quality. So quality, as you all know how important it is, it directly impacts the success of the project, right? So this is the measure of how our product is being performed once we release it to the market, right? Or to the customer to whom we deliver it. So if the customer don't like the product, the project is a failure, guys. So it's very, very important that we should have quality in everything we do, especially in the final outcome. If the quality deliverables are not met, the projects are even terminated at the very end stage. It's a great loss to the company. The company's reputation gets lost. So please be extra careful while we are managing the quality. And if the product is directly related to some regulations, right? So some government regulations like safety. If you're working in a chemical factory, these regulations are more and more critical. So if the quality is not at par with these regulations, the company might even have to face some lawsuits. So it is that serious. So please be extra careful while you manage this. And as you can see here, this task is again directly linked to the project quality management from the PMBOK Guide 6th edition. So everything that is done in that project quality management knowledge area, we have to learn in order to pass this task. So what happens in that project quality management is that we will learn how we have to plan the quality, how people manage the quality, what tools are available, and then how we control the quality. Everything that is mentioned in that PMBOK 6th edition is important to us, right? So there are multiple tools about how we assess the gaps also, right? So where the product is and what is expected of the product, everything's mentioned there. So what PMI wants us to do, we have to determine the quality standard required for the project deliverables. Very, very important. We have to recommend options for the improvement based on the quality gaps. We will understand what is expected and where we are, and then we have to recommend the improvements to reach that level. And then we have to continually survey the project deliverables quality. So these are the hints I'm considering that you already have this PMBOK guide, 6th edition and 7th edition. So in those guides, if you look at these key points, you'll easily pass this task. And you can also see some example questions here. All right, moving on. Domain 2, task 8, plan and manage scope. Again, one more link. I keep repeating it. I keep insisting it. I keep asking you to focus on the 6th edition of PMBOK guide, project scope management. This task is directly linked to the project scope management, which is from the 6th edition of PMBOK guide. So what is expected here is that we have to plan the scope management. We have to collect requirements and what different ways are there to collect them. We have to clearly define the scope of the project, scope of the work, and then the work is again divided to the stakeholder level, to the lowest possible level, and the scope is also broken down. So this breakdown process is again the WBS. It's work breakdown structure. So how do we create it? What are the different methods that we can create it? How efficiently we can create it? All these things we will learn in the classes to come. So what does PMI wants us to perform here? Here we have to determine and prioritize these requirements, what requirements we have, and what is the first requirement that we should do, what is the second one, what is the most important one. We have to prioritize them. We have to work on the WBS. Backlog tasks are, these are important tasks, but they are not urgent tasks, right? So if you know what I mean. So just because we have set the tasks in the backlog, that doesn't mean that these tasks are not important to be done. So they are also important, but not at this point of time. So we can shift these tasks to be done at a later point of time. So similarly, we have to monitor and validate the scope of the project. So these are the hints that you will need to pass this task. And then here you have some questions. So, and then we'll move on to the next task.